In today's New York Times, Bob Herbert has a education op-ed column, which it's called "An American Catastrophe," and he's looking at Detroit, how it's become a ghost land, and it's symptomatic of what's happened across the country. Empty buildings, empty apartments, empty factory, no production. The streets are empty. Nobody's out there. Commerce is almost coming to a standstill. And after I read it, I said, I've had some thoughts that I would like to put together here. I think the information age we're in, our education system, and our labor laws are primarily responsible for this economic situation we're in. And if we don't look at it carefully, it's going to lead to our demise. Now, let us start with education first. Education should be for the people who have the abilities. It's not about quotas, it's not about helping out disadvantaged areas, whatever. You want the best and the brightest to go to our Ivy League schools, so that when they become president and congressmen and presidents and CEOs of the big corporations and on Wall Street, they'll be honest, they'll be intelligent, they have mental acumen and capacity to function, and they'll be able to do a superb job for the country. I mean, look at Wall Street. We have people up there with no conscience, no intelligence, and they're destroying the country, coming up with stupid, fictitious things, selling nothing, and then it causes economic meltdown. No, it doesn't mean that blacks and Mexicans or Latinos are going to be excluded, because in my country, the British system, at 11 you have to be up to a certain level, or else you ain't going nowhere. To get to Oxford, London and Cambridge, you have to pass that exam and be the top in the country to go there. They don't compromise this. You can't make it, you don't go there. And so while we allowing people who have to have assistants like medical doctor, nurse, and people to take notes, and people to write the papers, and people to talk to them and all this kind of stuff, that's too much. When these guys get into Harvard and they still have to have this support and they get a big job, I mean, what are they going to do? Let us find a way that only the brightest and the best, and I don't think only the whites are going to be the brightest and best. You have in every race, you have people who have capacity and ability. Let us find them and let them go on to the top schools and get the top jobs in the country, because everything depends on them. Look what happened in Louisiana. These engineers, I mean, what kind of guys are they? Were they mentally competent or something? I mean, as a teacher, I don't want to get into too much details, but we have to find a way to change the way we test, and people have to know things, and let these people move up. Look at the labor laws in my country and in other countries. As a child, you have things to do. You clean your house, you clean your yard, you do whatever you have to do, farm in the yard, you have errands to do, you walk, you do this, you do that. Here they're saying that, we can't have kids working. Now, I've met a guy at 35 and he has never had a job. He never did anything that was able of bringing in some revenue to his life. So what he did is drugs and crime and all that thing. But if he as a child had been doing work around and find work is exciting, then he might have had a different lifestyle, in that he's not scared to work. I think that high school students from as early as they can should be able to go on the farm during the summers and help the tomatoes and the cabbage and in Idaho the potatoes and whatever. We need to put them to work, something that they can handle. We're not going to make them scientists and engineers to go up in space, whatever, but they need to start developing a liking for work and developing an attitude to work and some intelligence about work, etc. So that only the brightest should go on to universities and colleges, but those who are at a certain level should be content with working on the farm, working in service jobs, doing the menial tasks. But everybody now expects to go to university and college, and if they don't go, they don't want to do the menial tasks because that's beneath them. They should have been college bound. They should have gone to Harvard. And so we have to allow foreigners to come in to take these jobs, and then, like in the Greeks, I mean, we see this happen. The plebeians and those folks. What do you think was one of the problems with Rome? Roman citizens became so lazy that they had the Germans as their soldiers. And then the guy just turned the arms on Rome and destroyed the place and took over. Now, I don't know if folks have learned history. As Jim Jones said, those who forget history are condemned to repeat it. And finally, individuals said that we were moving from a farming and a manufacturing society to information technology society. Now, I don't know what that means. I know farming and manufacturing, they were jobs, a variety of jobs. You come from you have the vertical integrated level. You do the farming and right up to the manufacturing and the distribution and the whole works you were doing. And so, in producing a can of beans, you had so many different jobs around the can preparation, the farming, the clerical, the this and that, and so on. Now, the manufacturing, they said, oh, if we send it to China and to India, it's going to be done cheap over there. And why it's going to be done cheap? Because those people had kids working, and because they started working as kids, they're not highly priced. They understand that, look, I'm not so smart and I'm not no college bound. This is all I could do, and let me just hold on to this job and do it the best. And so they're doing those menial, tedious jobs very cheaply. And so they found that if they send the jobs over there, they'll be able to get big salaries and all that kind of stuff. And so now that all the jobs are over there, now it's coming back to, if you bring the products here, where people can get money to buy the products. And so the information age we're in, where are the jobs? I mean, Microsoft is making billions in selling its software and selling computers, but where are the jobs? Where is the 8 to 4 that I could go out and do with the information technology I have? I mean, where in the world are buying the information? I mean, what kind of information are buying? So I hope that this meltdown here, and as I have this picture here with rainbow coming out to the White House, I hope government, as somebody said in one of the comments, we need the executive, the legislative, and the judicial to come together and see how they could rearrange the way we do things in this country so that we could reverse things or take things to the next level and survive. It's about survival. And I know the White House, we have competent people in there. I guess for the first time we have a qualified president and wife and vice president and wife. They're all doctors, and this is good. And so they will start showing the country that look, intelligence works, and being smart helps, so that we could reverse this decline, or else it's a bad state of affairs. We need to do better.